Hey everyone, I received another download and I'd like to share this with you. This video is going to be about mindset at a very high level, but I'll give you guys some really good details because there's so much confusion in the world and in people's minds what mindset really is. Before I deep dive, I'd like to ask you, what does mindset mean to you? Like, what's your definition? Because humans love definitions, but unfortunately, the moment you define something, then you're stuck with that definition and you may not see outside of the perimeters of the definition. And when you cannot see outside of the perimeters of the definition is what we call a limited mindset. So let me just deep dive in and give you guys a mind expanding little mini lecture. As you know, I am a award-winning best-selling author. I'm a teacher of hypnosis, master trainer of neuro-linguistic programming and spiritual psychology and quantum psychology, and I help people overcome trauma in a very, very rapid fashion. I'll make many other videos about why that's vital for our survival, but in this video I'd like to focus on mindset. Whatever your definition of mindset was is probably fine, because mindset really is a lot of different things. And in the inverted matrix, mindset was typically referred to as success mindset. If you make money, you're successful. But if you go back many, many, many decades, Earl Nightingale said that success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. In other words, whatever's in your heart, whatever is in your genetic makeup, whatever is your true gift, divine gift that you accepted at the soul level, based on the current definitions of success, it would be nearly impossible to reach, because society has shaped us to be a lot smaller than what we could be based on our mind. So the success mindset really needs to be redefined, what it means for you. Now, I understand that there is a intricacy and interconnectedness, and whatever gift you may have may not be necessarily sellable or marketable or monetizable in the old matrix, but that's falling apart. So mindset is really your psychology. It's a very deep, deep, deep spiritual and quantum psychology. It's not just about success. It's not about failure. It's a lot about your inner belief system and a lot about your own desires and your, as I said, genetic makeup. Did you know that in most people's minds, there's also what we call the slave mindset? Doesn't mean that you have been a slave in this lifetime. It just means that you bring the energy from many, many, many lifetimes ago, and it's in us. And I'll give you an example how that shows up. It always shows up through, obviously, behavior, shows up through language, but a slave mindset also shows up when you don't go for what you want. The slave mindset also shows up when you judge others. The slave mindset also shows up when you throw pitch fits and tantrums. We have all done that. It's not the point. The slave mindset shows up in tens of thousands of ways, and you don't even realize that through your limited thinking and the lack of inner healing, that slave mindset gets reignited time and time again. So when we do the inner work, I will make another video about the inner work, because there's so much confusion. It's a lot more work than what people understand. When you do the inner work, you have to identify your own patterns. How many patterns are there? 1 million. Okay? So there is, of course, the success mindset. There is the slave mindset. But I also want to tell you that there's so many other mindsets since our psychology is incredibly deep. What if I told you that there's also something called the criminal mindset? It's in every single one of us, and that's why it has to be healed and integrated so that you can overcome your deceits and your little sly lies and your bribability. Are you bribable? The answer is yes. How much? Up to your journey, right? That needs to be unwired, that needs to be healed. If you want to come to the new earth, the new world, a lot of these subtle energies that are not in alignment with the high code of honor will have to be healed and will have to be integrated. So far I've only talked about 3: success mindset, then the slave mindset, there's the criminal mindset. How many more are there? Many, many, many. So that's why I'm telling you that the mindset itself is a broad term, and the best thing to do for us, for star seeds, that you want to come to the new earth, is look at the existing matrix structure. I am not attacking the matrix because it was one of the best mirrors that we could have. It shows the deception, it shows the lies, it shows the criminality, it shows, the harm, intentional and unintentional harm to other humans. It shows millions of things. And if you take a few steps back, you realize that we created this chaos with our minds, with our thoughts, with our emotions that were out of alignment with the Creator's ways, the high code of honor. Then it gives you an ability to reflect, go within, and start healing your mind. Healing your memories, healing your bitch fits, your temper tantrums, your bribability, your weaknesses, all of that, the other thing that I mentioned. There's about 1 million things to the mind. I'm the expert of the unconscious mind, and of course, now, this is early October 5th, 2022. You have no idea how many times I have been attacked by know-it-alls. Let me tell you about the mindset. I'll tell you what, sunshines. Putting on stretchy pants and doing a couple of warrior poses on the beach is not mindset work. It will give you a nice ass, it will give you a nice firm abs, but it is far from mindset work. And we've been sold all these false tickets. Like, this is the mind-body work. Make it a little bit of mind and, quite a whole lot of body. But the mind work is so much more intricate than what people realize. I've been attacked by, of course, a lot of these AI paid oppositions, and then people who are half-baked. And they think they got it. But here's the reason why I'm telling you this. If we do not become humble, that arrogant mindset will destroy us. All these needs to prove our specialness, that's signifying a broken heart. All this need to prove our worth. I've done the work. I studied, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's not gonna frickin', impress me. Lies. And let me show you the next 1,000,000 layers. So, in order for humanity to survive, we need to become humble. The arrogant mindset is unfortunately common, but what it does, what it shows us, and hopefully it will help you pop a few of these bubbles, it shows us 2 things. One is that underneath that arrogance, this egoic arrogance, is that there are many things that we don't like about ourselves. Whatever we try to deflect from, the very thing that we are trying to avoid talking about is what we have unhealed in us. I'll give you an example. Then people say, it's the shadow work. Like, yeah, and then 10,000 other freaking things, right? So what would that cover up? This kind of, arrogant, specialness seeking thing? Well, maybe there is a shadow self in them, which is called stupid. We all have that. It's a shadow self. It's a part of us. It's part of the big puzzle. But in order for us to not feel the pain of that stupid shadow self, we try to act differently. We try to cover it up, and then we compensate for it. And how we compensate for it comes out differently. Some people try to play smart. They go to the university, right? Just to cover up the stupid self. Other people cover up probably what we call ignorance. Ignorance is a core shadow concept. Those of you that know the 4 stages of learning, unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, unconscious competence, right? So in other words, we go from not knowing anything, realizing that we didn't know something, then you learn about the thing and you practice and you become really good at it. The very first stage is called the unconscious incompetence, and that's our ignorance. And in this world, there's basically the universe, everything, all the things that we don't know. And what we do with this region is that we disown it. It's our ignorance, but we reject it, that part of us. And now the ego tries to prove that we are not that. Well, we are everything. And if you were to know everything, you wouldn't be here in a physical body. You'd be over there, some kind of light bulb, celestial thing, doing some other things. So our shadow ignorant self launches these different attacks and also limits us how far we can grow. So that's the ignorant mindset, of course. There's the arrogant mindset, and there's so many more. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a mind stretcher so that you will understand how complex the mind is. You will not simplify it to a degree where you tell yourself that you're done. Because the moment you say, I've done the work, that means, I'll show you what it means. It means that you are done growing. What that also means, beneath that, underneath it, everything's layered, is that you are not you're not worthy of more. A lot of these expressions that come out of people's mouths are really not positive statements. They indicate their mindset. And at the very bottom of the barrel, millions and millions of layers deep, there's our unworthiness. The unworthiness interpenetrates our entire being, all of our past lives, and it's in the collective. And whenever we are not willing to go for what we want, is a sign of unworthiness. Whenever you have to prove that you're special, deep down, it's not only a broken heart, because that's one of our core wounds, but it shows the unworthiness. Whenever you have to prove something, whenever you have to, that's the unworthy mindset. Okay? So I'm not going to make this video long. I just wanted to give you guys a mind stretcher and ask you to be very humble from here on. Humanity will be humbled very, very soon from not only the outside events, what's going to happen, but also what will be revealed to us. A lot of our past stories that were based on unworthiness, that were based on ignorance, that were based on fear, that were based on all the wrong things, will come to the surface. We'll learn where we went wrong and the mistakes we made, and then we have to go back in our mind and heal those mistakes. There are a lot more mistakes than you realize, which is fine. It's not about the number. It's just about the humility that most humans lack, which then leads to not really understanding our power, the psychology of creation, and how we correct a path in a past that we unintentionally or intentionally created. Okay, so this was a very, very, very short introduction about mindset. As you are probably now thinking, there's so much more to this than what meets the eye. Our eyes and our physical senses are nothing compared to the intricacies of the mind. So I'd like to ask you to, just become humble, become, live in humility. Humility means that you appreciate who you are, appreciate your knowledge, but you stop launching these special attacks, like, oh, I've done the work, it's a shadow, and blah, blah, blah. No. Step back and start noticing what bugs you. Start noticing what makes you happy. Why? And you go under each. What bothers you about the world? What bothers you about other people? All of those are your belief and shadow aspects. Then decide on a few things. What would you like to become and why? And then you begin to expand your mind, because the way we live life, have lived life up to now, and I'll help you change this, is that every time we failed or every time we had a negative experience, we shrank a little bit. Like, that hurts. I'm not going to do that again. And every time you say, I'm not going to do that, without healing the root cause, you become a slave to the particular experience. It appears to the eye that we moved on. Oh, I moved on, it's in the past, don't worry about the past. It's like, that will kill you. You gotta go back with methods, techniques, and understanding that that particular story is toxic. It's harming you, but your ego will mask it nicely. It will hide it from you so that you're gonna think, yeah, you're done. So guys, when I talk to people, because I do a very advanced coaching, the main focus is helping business owners and entrepreneurs understand and overcome and heal from their traumas. Because with these traumas in place, you cannot think big enough. You cannot grow as a business. You cannot grow as a person. In fact, the other thing happens, which is we shrink, we collapse, we go, into that. We hide under the rock, and that's not what we are here to do. Okay. So I'm going to close this video, and I'll make many others about, different topics that are very, very, very relevant for humanity. And then we'll catch you on the next video.